is a great millstone, which is word choosing necessary. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, wishing the word choosing necessary. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the spoken word, wishing the word choosing necessary. I'll say shalom to the Akim out there. And this is a news article, another one that I wanted to bring out in the news of November 23rd, 2022. On this Wednesday afternoon at 3:40 p.m. Central Standard Time. And the highlight of this news article, and it reads for business news in regards to the finance news and from a different country. And this is alternative news around the world. And it says China secretly hoarding, if I pronounced that right, gold. Media reports. It says countries are expanding their bullion holdings after the West frozen Russian reserve, right? Because due to the current Russia-Ukraine war situation. Because you know, the United States and these Western countries been using these hard economic sanctions on North Korea, China, Russia, and Iran as well too. It says countries are expanding their bullion holding after the West freezes Russian reserve, analysts say. It says, right, because you got countries like China, Russia, and India, and many other countries that follow the lead to separate their safe from the dollar, which is the American dollar, because the American dollar is going to be no more value very soon when that mandatory of that MOTB comes into full effect. It says central banks.
Show us some love, big bro. For the Bucket Boys playing the drums, we trying to raise donations. The police taking our sticks. We asking everybody to sign. They donate a small donation to the team from your heart.
I wish I did. I ain't got no money.
How y'all doing today, sir?
It says central banks. It says central banks across the world have stepped up their gold purchases after the Russia's reserve assets was frozen. It says sanctions this year. According to the strategic sighting by the Japanese Business Daily, Nikkei Asia, if I pronounce the name right, but continue on with the reading. It says some 300 billion in Russian foreign reserve, and billions more held by individuals. Businesses has repeatedly been frozen by the U.S. and its allies. And it says Kremlin has reportedly slammed this siege as a theft. And it says gold purchases. I forgot what country it was. I believe they was purchasing rubies and gold or something like that. Just to purchasing like oil and stuff like that. Towards the oil countries, That's a prime example. Because when that paper dollar is no more in value, because that digital currency is going to be fully implemented. Even though we're living in that technology of everything is being digital, it's going to be a full implementing of the mandatory of everything is going full digital. That's when that paper dollar is not going to be no more existence. Even though the paper dollar is solid, still going strong. But when the time comes, everything is going to be full digitized when that time fully approaches. And it's already here. We're seeing signs of that, of Joe Biden signing that chip deal to be in competition with China, I believe, about like a couple of months ago, like in August or September or July, he signed that deal. But you got United States is still trying to be in competition with China, So we're seeing that the digital currency is going to be fully implemented very soon. And it says some 300 billion in Russian foreign reserves and billions more held by individuals and businesses have reportedly been frozen by the U.S. and its allies, which is the Western allies of the United States. It says the Kremlin has repeatedly slammed the seizures as a theft. It says gold purchases by regulars more than quadrupled in the July-September period, total 399.3 tons, according to the data published in the World Gold. And it says Council's November report. And it says the figure marks a dramatic surge of 186 tons recorded in the preceding quarter, 87.7 tons in the first quarter of this year. Meanwhile, the year-to-date total has surpassed a full year since 1967. And it says Emin Yurmazu, a Japan-based economic from Turkey, told the media that the anti-Western countries are eager to accumulate gold holdings on hand after nations saw Russia's overseas assets was frozen as part of sanctions. And it says the central banks of Turkey, Uzbekistan, and India previously said that they had about 3.2 tons and 26.1 tons and 17.5 tons respectively. It's currently unclear which nations purchased the rest of the 300 ton total. And it says some identified the purchase as expected, but an unexpected slice to this magnitude of an unheard, according to the critical mental analysts citing by the agencies. It says China's likely bought a substantial amount of gold from Russia, market analysts, and a Japan director from the World Gold Council, Hisasu Tsutsuma, if I pronounced that right. It says, explained that the People's Bank of China likely purchased portions of the central banks of Russia gold holding over 2,000 tons. An analyst noted that the typical behavior is from China's monetary regulator, which did not disclose any gold purchases from 2009 to 2015, and they reportedly has been increasing the reserves by 600 tons. It says the People's Bank of China has not published any reports on gold purchases since 2019. And it says the gold buying frenzy comes after a fresh attempt by central banks protecting their assets by reducing their exposure to the U.S. dollar. China has been a dominant force in the certain de-dollarization trend. According to the data from the U.S. Treasury Department, the national sold 121.2 billion in U.S. bonds between March and October. So yeah, that shows you a clear sign that China and India and these other countries are slipping away from the American dollar, and that's what we're seeing. They're coming with their own currency, and this trend is definitely going to continue on. Let's see. Let's go to Revelations. And this is a scripture right here. It proves that we're going to be living in everything is going to be digital. And this is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. And it reads, He calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free of bond. To the richest, to the poorest. In that instant, it says to receive a MARK, which is that carotid, and in their right HAND, the right hand part of your body, or their Foreheads. That's just, the upper part of your body, which is the, what? This is Revelations 13:7. And that no man might buy or sell, which is the charagma. In order to buy or sell things, you got to take that charagma. You got to have that charagma inside of your BODY, And I'm reading again. It says Revelations 13 and verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, say he that hath the MARK, or the name of the BEAST, or the number of his name, which is the number letter, what? It says, Revelations 13 and verse 18, here is the wisdom that let him that have understanding the number of the BEAST, for it is the number of that man, and his number of SIX, 100, 80, and SIX. And I'm gonna bring out a scripture for who those that take that in that hour of temptation. This is the book of Revelations 14:9. And it says, and a third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the BEAST and his image, and receive his MARK and his FOREHEAD, or in his hand. Revelations 14:10, and it says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh thy power, which is poured out without mixture in the cup of the indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and the presence of the Lamb, right? Because Yahweh Shai, he's the Lamb, And as soon as you take that charagma, especially our people, Israelites, that's in the world, if you take that charagma, hey, you're gonna receive that wrath from the Heavenly Father, and His only begotten Son as well too, So that's that hour temptation when that MOTB is gonna be fully implemented, which is very soon, because you're gonna have all digital things that's gonna be inside of you very soon, and they definitely been pushing it quite some while now, because everything is gonna be getting to that point, because we've seen samples of that places like I think Switzerland, places here in the United States. What the guy had, the little Tesla, was able to some part of his body to be able to scan the car to have access and to start up the car as well too. So that's a clear sign. I believe they showed that back in late August or something like that, early August or September. That shows you that a clear sign that we're going to be entering in that, And then as far as the news article that I just brought out with this right here with China, they it's everything is really backed by gold. That's the real money, like gold and silver and rubies and stuff like that. That's the real currency. That's the real money. And it says China is secretly hurling gold, right? Because these, as I mentioned before, even though there's been having quite some time now that these nations that's going to be slipping away from the dollar, because the paper dollars ain't going to be no more value. That's what we're seeing. Places like China, Russia, and India, and many more countries going to be slipping away from the, they're going to be slipping away and separating themselves from the paper dollar, and that's what we're seeing. We're going to continue to see this trend happens, as I mentioned and said before, because that time of the MOTB, that charagma season is here, and it's definitely quickly approaching, because we've been seeing signs of that in the news and media outlets, through these news articles, and people that have been talking about it on radio stations, on the internet, etc. These things are increasing, because that shows you that the paper dollar of America and around the world as well too is going to be no more value, because everything is going to be rubies and silver and gold. Everything is going to be backed by gold, and that's what we're seeing, because these nations are separating themselves from they selling off the trades. As I was scrolling down and reading through the news article, I believe it was like 101 billion was sold. So that shows you an indicator of this been happening from July all the way into October, and then that shows you a clear sign that China is consistently separating themselves from the dollar, with their own form of currency, and that's what we're seeing. That's that MOTB. That's a clear sign of the MOTB that is being fully implemented very soon in these different countries and here in the United States as well too. We're seeing a clear sign of that. So with that, this was a sit-down lesson that I wanted to bring out in regards to this MOTB, Nicaragua, that the paper dollar is no more being valued from this paper dollar is it's not being valued from countries like China, Russia, India, Jamaica, Nigeria, and other countries as well too. They're separating themselves from the paper dollar. Even if the United States got allies that do importing and exporting of money and currency and stuff like that, they slipping away from the United States. That shows you clear signs of, we're entering that time. We're entering those current times of the MOTB is going to be fully implemented. Just like Joe Biden made that announcement, I'll say about a month or two ago. It was going to be an announcement on December the 13th about the central bank currency, So that shows you a clear sign of the MOTB, the MOTB of the Nicaragua, the digital currency, because we're entering that time of digital currency. And it's going to continue to be pushed out, implemented out, and when that time comes, it's going to be full mandatory when the time approaches. And the times are definitely approaching slowly but surely, So with that, I hope this sit-down lesson was edifying for in the news of November the 23rd, 2022, on this Wednesday afternoon at 3:57 p.m. Central Standard Time. And so with that, I hope this is edifying. Like I mentioned before, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Makakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of the word Muslim, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And until next time, I will say shalom in a Bible.